News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
In this particular case, it's all about the heat. Good morning, everyone. This is Montana Morning. It is Wednesday, June 24th, 2015. Another beautiful morning in western Montana. We're looking for some high clouds. We have 54 degrees in Missoula right now. And our newscast sponsored by Dig It Excavating, bringing 30 years of excellence to every job. Call 214-4292. A whole gaggle of stories, if you will, about hot weather, either here or coming. A very warm, high-pressure system will begin to develop over the northern Rockies this Friday and will bring record-high temperatures for the weekend through at least the end of June, temperatures that may have never been seen in western Montana in the month of June before. National Weather Service meteorologist Dan Zumpf has more.
We're going to be looking at temperatures steadily rising, especially from Thursday onward through the weekend and into next week. We're seeing temperatures warm above 100 degrees for a lot of western Montana, including Missoula, and we might be even challenging all-time record high temperatures for the month of June for both Missoula and Kalispell.
Zumpf says there's only been a few occasions when Missoula has reached the 100-degree mark in June, but as for the weekend ahead, it looks like record highs are on tap. With that in mind, Zumpf offers some tips.
You should limit your exposure to the heat as much as possible, and as much as high temperatures, afternoon temperatures are important to avoid being outside and doing exercise during that time and drinking lots of fluids. People don't recognize that actually the air not cooling off at night has as much of a harmful effect on their health as do the high temperatures.
And tomorrow we'll be having a conversation with Cindy Hotchkiss, who, of course, is a nurse with Missoula City County Health Department regarding the hot weather and how to deal with it. Zumpf says low temperatures this weekend will not reach below 60. He adds the cumulative effect of high 100-degree temperatures in conjunction with not-so-low temperatures can have a harmful effect on humans. As western Montana braces for what many think could be a very rough fire season, Montana Budget Director Dan Vill is confident the state will have the funds needed for fire suppression.
We're as prepared as we've ever been. We had $43 million in reserve funds for fire suppression. As of last week, we're anticipating another $20 to $30 million in transfers. The worst fire season we've had on record was about a $50 million fire season, so we'll have more than sufficient funds to cover even more than the worst year we've ever had.
Villa says a bill passed in Governor Bullock's first term has enabled Montana to be ahead of the curve.
We have a permanent funding source, and we're one of the few states in the country to have set aside a permanent funding stream for fire suppression based on additional tax collections above official estimates. We're leading the pack nationally on fire suppression efforts, and that's one of the things that's going to provide us the ability to respond this summer.
Villa isn't alone in his estimate of the fire suppression budget. State Forester Bob Harrington said he's also confident funding will be accurate if it's needed. Fire danger in the Bitterroot National Forest has been moved to high as a result of the warmer and drier weather in the past couple of weeks. Johnny Lubke with the National Forest has details.
We're expecting temperatures in the hundreds this weekend. We moved it into high as a result of the much warmer and drier weather we've been seeing in the last few weeks. And so we just want to warn the public that if they're going to have a campground when they're out recreating, to make sure to put it out before they leave. Do not leave campfires unattended.
Well, Lubke encourages the public to take extra precautions when recreating in the Bitterroot National Forest, especially with the upcoming 4th of July weekend.
Fires can start very easily from most any cause, from driving a hot vehicle over grass can start it, to campfires, to fireworks. So all of those things you need to be cautious about, and especially reminded that with it being closer to the 4th of July, fireworks are prohibited on National Forest System lands. Use common sense.
For more information, contact the Bitterroot National Forest. That number is 363-7100. Let's have another hot weather story. Hot weather in the this part of western Montana may also mean severe restrictions on fishing in the coming near future. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks Fisheries Manager Pat Saffel says FWP is paying very close attention to rising water temperatures.
We are going into a drought year, so we expect to to hit some of the triggers for fishing restrictions. And the trigger that we most often see in this part of the state is a temperature trigger. Typically, we start getting concerned about it about the third week in July. This year, we're looking at third week in June being concerned about it, so that's that month ahead.
As of last Friday, the temperatures in the Blackfoot River, Bitterroot, and Rock Creek were in the mid-60s. Restrictions begin to occur after the temperatures getting into the low 70s.
For most waters, if we reach 73 degrees Fahrenheit for 3 days in a row, then we consider putting a restriction on, and it's usually for part of the day. Next weekend, we're looking at temperatures into the 90s and hundreds, so we're really going to have an eye out for what could happen next weekend.
Sappel says the fishing restrictions would most likely limit fishing to the hours between morning and 2 p.m. However, full closures of rivers and creeks are indeed possible. Getting to non-fire and non-heat-related issues, authorities in Hamilton captured a Florida woman wanted on charges alleging she plotted to kill a suburban Indianapolis divorce attorney seeking money from her boyfriend. Valley County Sheriff Chris Hoffman told KGVO News yesterday 51-year-old Renee Perillo of Panama City, Florida, was arrested without incident near Stevensville by 2 U.S. Marshals accompanied by 2 Valley County Sheriff's deputies. Perillo appeared in court yesterday in Hamilton and was ordered held without bond. Hamilton, Indiana County Sheriff Mark Bowen says Perillo will face extradition to Indiana on charges including conspiracy to commit murder, theft, and criminal trespass. A Lockwood man has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for breaking into a house and trying to kidnap a 13-year-old girl. The Billings Gazette newspaper reports 37-year-old Lester Harley McFerrin was sentenced Tuesday to 30 years in prison with 10 years suspended for felony burglary and attempted kidnapping. He pleaded guilty in April. Prosecutors said the girl woke up early March 26th of last year to find a man sitting on her bed with a pair of handcuffs. She yelled and kicked at him until he ran off. Court records say she grabbed a pocket knife from under her pillow, ran to the kitchen, and yelled at the man to leave while she was calling 911. Montana Tech's chancellor says he did not conspire with Saudi diplomats to fly students involved in a grade-changing scandal out of the U.S. Saudi embassy memos recently published by WikiLeaks revealed that Chancellor Donald Blackadder suggested that Saudi officials fly the students home in 2012 to avoid deportation or arrest. Blackadder said in a statement to the Associated Press yesterday he met with Saudi government officials who were sponsoring the students to inform them of impending academic sanctions. He says he told the officials that when the sanctions were imposed, the student status would be terminated and they'd be required to return to their home country almost immediately. Blackadder says no students involved committed a crime, and the school treated the Saudi students as any other student would be treated. A 43-year-old Kalispell man is charged with attempted deliberate homicide after another man reported he ran him off the road in Butte. The Montana Standard newspaper reports Ian Gabriel Lenders was stopped in Lake County just before noon Saturday, about 4 hours after the altercation. Butte-Silverboe County officials said Gabriel was charged Saturday with attempted deliberate homicide and a warrant was issued. He posted a $50,000 bond and was released from jail early Monday. Prosecutors allege Lenders and a 39-year-old Butte man were arguing over a woman Saturday morning when Lenders allegedly pulled a gun on the man. The man fled the scene in his pickup, but Lenders followed in a semi. The pickup struck a light pole. Lenders was expected to make an initial appearance in Justice Court either yesterday or today. And the March of Dimes will end fundraising efforts in Montana as part of an organization-wide evaluation and reallocation of resources. The Billings Gazette newspaper reports the decision leaves the organization's 4 Montana chapter employees' futures uncertain and will lead the Montana Board of Directors to disband. March of Dimes Senior Vice President of Field Management Paula Ransom says the decision is a result of a strategic alignment study of the entire organization that began back in August. Our News Talk time now is 6:14.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Look for a mix of sun and clouds today with our high temperatures in the mid-80s. Overnight lows will drop back into the mid-50s. Thursday through Friday, highs in the upper 80s and low 90s. 100 degrees possible this weekend. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.